Now we are looking at Purva Bhadrapada or the Purva Bhadra. So, as the name suggests, Purva would mean the former or the first or something that happened before. So there is some karma related to the previous births. Okay, because in Sanatana we believe that there is always multiple births for a soul. So there is some karma that is associated with this nakshatra in the previous birth. Okay, so based on what you are enjoying in this life, um, it is related to the past life karmas. So all the Purva nakshatras, that is the Purva Phalguni, the Purva Shadha, and the Purva Bhadrapada, people say that they are somehow related to the previous births. Okay, and it's called as the former lucky feet because Bhadra would mean lucky, okay, or something that is safe. Bhadra would mean safe and lucky. Pada would mean feet. So the former lucky feet, ray of light, and the deity associated with this nakshatra is Aja or Ajasyaika Padaha. Okay. This is one of the Ekadasha Rudras. There are 11 types of Rudras available for us. So this is one of those Rudras called as the Aja Ekapada. That means the deity has only one feet over which there are three gods residing. Okay. So it is like the Dattatreya Avatara, wherein you have Vishnu in the front and you have the Brahma and the Maheshwara on the side positions. It can also mean that the Nataraja Avatara, the dancing Shiva, on which the Nataraja stands on one leg and the other leg is in the air. So Ekapada, that means one leg is in the air, okay, or only one leg is grounded. Okay, so it can also mean that when you have one leg grounded and one leg in the air, when you're traveling somewhere, right? Because if you have to walk, you keep one foot down and you keep moving forward with while you move the other feet in the air. So only one feet is always on the land, the other feet is in the air. It means that you're walking, you're dancing, you're going somewhere, you're climbing, all that can also mean ekapada. Okay. So let's look at the mantra. It is Ajasyaikapadaha, Purve Prosthapadaha, Vaisvanaram Parastat, Vaisva Vasavam Avastat. The mantra once again, Ajasyaikapadaha, Purve Prosthapadaha, Vaisvanaram Parastat, Vaisva Vasavam Avastat. Okay, so let's look at the intro. The deity is called as the Ajay or Ajayikapada. Okay, and Aja would mean an unborn goat. Okay, I would believe that our people did not know where from the origin of goat came in. Okay, our people understood how deers came, how elephants came, how all other species came, but they are not very sure about how a goat came onto the earth. Okay, so this was called as Shiva. So a goat is a Shiva. Okay, I mean, there are different meanings for Aja. Aja means something that is unborn. Ja means born. Aja means unborn. Okay. Or Aja can also mean the electricity or the lightning that is produced when two clouds clash and electricity comes out from the heaven to the earth. Okay. Even that is called as Aja. Okay. So basically, this is a fire serpent. Okay, Ajasya Ekapada, Ajayikapada is a fire serpent. The next nakshatra is of Uttara Bhadraha. Uttara Bhadrapada is a water serpent. So a fire always goes up, water always goes down. So these are the Bhadrapadas. One rules the upward things like the aeronautics or the atmosphere. These two Rudras are called as the atmospheric Rudras. One rules the atmosphere that is above the surface of the earth up to this case, and one rules below the surface of the earth, that is the Uttara Bhadrapada. Okay. And this particular nakshatra rules lightning that strikes the earth because we don't know when the lightning will strike. Okay. Sometimes it rains and a lightning suddenly strikes from nowhere. We don't know when it is born, how it is born, when, how long it will last, who will die. We don't know all that stuff. Okay. And I wrote here clouds do not have any charge, but technically clouds are actually charged up. However, our people felt that the clouds carried charge, or charge was only useful when two clouds, came together for the lightning to be produced. Otherwise, even the clouds carried charge. It did not mean anything for anyone. Okay, let's move ahead. The symbols are sword, two-faced man, column of light, skull and bones, a male lion. Let's cover the symbols first. As we keep talking further down into all these nakshatras, where we end at Revati, technically we have to end at Bharani, because Bharani happens to be the last nakshatra, because nakshatras will start from Kritika. From Kritika to Bharani is the right order if we are talking about nakshatras. Okay. However, we have started with Ashwini. Ashwini and Bharani are covered. We will end up at Revati. So all these nakshatras, right from Dhanishta, they're called as Dhanishta Panchakas, as we have talked in the last class. These are nakshatras which represent death or ending or transformation. Because for transformation to happen, it means that something dies off and something comes out. Okay. So it does not necessarily mean that the native is dying or something in this case. It is only about the transformational phase the native is actually experiencing all through his life when you have all these Dhanishta Panchakas, which are Dhanishta, Purva Bhadra, Uttara Bhadra, and Revati. Okay. So this is all about these nakshatras. So you have some transformational thing always happening around this. Sometimes they indicate good results. Sometimes they may also bring you down, depending on the combinations or the depending on the birth chart. We have to understand whether this particular thing is bringing you down or taking you upwards. Okay, so this is a two-faced man, because if you look at this, Ajasyaika Padaha, Purve Proshta Padaha, Vaiswanaram. Vaiswanara means the Agni, okay, the fire. Okay, so this is a fire serpent, and Vaiswanara means Agni. Okay, so Agni is always a two-faced man. We have talked this in the Kritika. So if somebody has any questions on how Agni is two-faced and all that, we have talked in Kritika Nakshatra. Please go to Kritika Nakshatra from this website. You can select it from here, study, go to Nakshatras. From here, you can select Kritika and read some part of Kritika as well, which can actually make your understanding even better. So a two-faced man would mean some duality. Okay, he would have some understanding of, uh, sorry, he is a two-faced man, which could represent contrasting forces such as life and death, good and evil. So anything that has two things always. As I said, there's always a transformational phase in this. So something is always getting transformed. The difficulty in these two nakshatras, the Purva Bhadra and the Uttara Bhadra, no matter how much ever you learn about these two nakshatras, these two are too difficult to understand or contemplate when you are looking at the nakshatra point of view. Okay, so when you have a horoscope, and if you have to deduce what is all about from this nakshatra, it becomes extremely difficult. So always look at the other nakshatras that are around in the horoscope, and these are usually nakshatras which help in actually making them perform. So in other words, whatever all the other nakshatras are doing, these are only going to aid them. These are only going to help them, both the Purva Bhadra and the Uttara Bhadra. Okay, so do not base your predictions based on these two nakshatras, Purva and the Uttara Bhadrapadas, especially the Bhadrapadas. Okay, however, a few characteristics are always seen from here. One is the Agni, the two-faced man, which means the person is highly diplomatic. Okay, this person speaks highly diplomatically. He can handle situations diplomatically, and you have a transformational force inside it because Agni is something that takes everything and transforms it into something else. You pour something into Agni, it gets transformed, right? And then you have a sword, which means cutting through ignorance or illusion. So these are Rudras. So keep this in mind that these are Rudras. Rudras are, fierce nakshatras. Fierce would mean the decisions taken by the person are really fierce. Okay, so he will make tough decisions for his life. He will keep his foot down and be serious on a few things and keep working towards it. So these are sometimes required. If a person faces a difficulty and he has a very good prominent Purva Bhadrapada, it means that the person is going to keep his foot down and say, look, I am going to do this no matter what comes. Okay. I am committed to do this. Let me do my job no matter what comes. So these are so sometimes even the fierce nakshatras are very, very helpful for the person. You have a soft nakshatra. The problem with the person is he's not able to make a decision. A fierce nakshatra, the person is, you get to see these management gurus, right? They keep saying, take a decision and make it work rightly for you. These are such kind of people, Purva Bhadrapada. Okay, so they have the sword would say that they're cutting through that ignorance or illusion, and they also represent fierce protection to their people. And sometimes, if some destruction has to happen around it to protect something, they are ready for it. Or even the situations come in such a way that the person is protected and maybe somebody else is eliminated. Okay. Okay. A funeral cot or bed. So this symbolizes death, transformation, end of cycles. Okay. Renunciation, mortality. Um, as I keep saying about these two nakshatras, these are both on the material and the spiritualistic side. Okay, so one can have very good spiritual progress and can also have a very good material progress, both in the Bhadrapadas. Okay, so mostly in the Purva Bhadrapada, because this is a fierce Rudra. Okay, because all the Purvas are fierce. This fierce Rudra is constantly looking at work. This person keeps on working. Okay, is very interested to do the work. In comparison, when you compare it with Uttara Bhadrapada, the person is mostly relaxing. Okay, does not want to do any stuff materialistically or do some work that can bring him money unless his people need it. That is Uttara Bhadra. I mean to say that if the family is poor, Uttara Bhadra is working. If the family is well off, they are settled, his wife, his children are settled, they have enough money for their livelihood. The Uttara Bhadrapada is the first person to retire and say, look, I'm not doing anything, or not, I'm not trying to earn anything more. Whatever comes as pension to my home or whatever comes up to my because of my previous deeds, I'm pretty happy with it. Purva Bhadra is exactly opposite to it. Purva Bhadra does not want to retire and constantly want to work. Okay. So the person is constantly trying to work, constantly wandering here and there, and trying to change a lot of things, trying to challenge a lot of things because it's fire. He's trying to climb up. Okay. Because fire always goes upwards. Okay. Uh, skull and bones is also represent transformation, detachment, end of phase. Okay, this Purva Bhadra and Uttara Bhadra are talking about themes which are based on end of something. They want to end a few things. Like as I said, something is they're working for something to find the end of it. Okay, Purva Bhadra is doing that. Uttara Bhadra is what they are looking at ending their work because their people are happy. Both are talking about ends only. So the Purva Bhadra man works just in case he's alive. As long as he is alive, he wants to work. As long as he can work, he wants to work. He does not want to keep himself. any leisure time. Okay, that is Purva Bhadra. And wants to change a lot of things. Okay. And it also means that a death in this family or an extended family of the Purva Bhadra people is going to bring a lot of change in their life. Okay. This applies even to Uttara Bhadra. However, the difference is the Purva Bhadrapada, when a death happens, a responsibility adds up. Okay. In case of Uttara Bhadra, when a death happens, a responsibility is taken away. Okay. To keep this simpler, I'll give you an example. It makes you understand it better. In case of Purva Bhadrapada, a death happens, okay, in the family, assuming the native has a sister. The sister's husband died. Okay. Now the sister becomes his responsibility. Okay. This is Purva Bhadrapada typically. Now let's talk about in comparison to Uttara Bhadrapada. Uttara Bhadrapada, the native has someone who is constantly ill, and the native is actually spending a lot of money for his recovery. One fine day, the person dies off, okay, and no more spending of money is required. So a lot of money is saved in the next 5 6 years. The person actually becomes rich because that expense that was going into the hospital for the person who is not feeling well, that amount is actually largely saved. Okay, don't take this in a negative sense. Okay, why I'm trying to tell you this is because death adds up a responsibility in one case, a death actually seizes the responsibility in other case. Okay, most likely these things happen when you have combination of both the Purva Bhadra and the Uttara Bhadra. It means that it will be a mixture of both. Okay, so Uttara Bhadra is trying to make the person set free. I mean, the person is slowly setting himself free and not trying to take part in any of the material pursuits that his family wants. Eventually, he will actually thrive all through his young age to make his family settle down. That is Uttara Bhadra. Purva Bhadra is no matter how much amount of efforts he's putting, his family still has some or the other requirement of this person's money. So this person will be constantly under pressure to earn money. Okay, that is Purva Bhadra. Okay, the male lion is Purva Bhadra. So if you look at male lions and female lions, right? In case of male lions, usually they don't hunt. Okay, female lions usually hunt. They train their cubs. They do everything. But male lions come up only when the prey is very big, and the female lions, despite being a pack of female lions, they're not able to hunt it, and that's when these lions come out. The male lions come out and will do a big job. Okay, so, however, all the time the lions are always busy. They want to hunt a prey. Okay. And I don't know if I've mentioned this here, but it just came up my uh, thought process. So it just struck my mind. So I have put this up here just now. Okay. Spiritual mastery can also be there, and higher pursuits. Symbol connects with transformative energy. So this keeps constantly talking about transformations that keep happening in the person's life. So wherever the Purva Bhadra gets connected, there is transformation in life. So your 10th lord gets connected to Purva Bhadra, some death will bring in some transformation in life. So 10th lord's dispositor is in Purva Bhadra. It means that somebody dies off. Maybe you have to leave a job at a place, change your job because you have to accommodate somebody else, due to a death. Okay. Let's get into a few more things. If you are not clear, you will be very clear by the time the lecture is over. So just be there all through the lecture. All right. So you have this is an Adhomukha Nakshatra. This is a Chara Nakshatra facing downwards. Number of stars are 2. The nickname is first of the blessed feet, former lucky feet, back legs of a stool or a bench. So a chair or a bench is what we are talking about, and these are the back legs of it. or sometimes people even say they're the front legs of it. I have, I have no complaints on it. So it comprises of the four legs of a bench or a chair. Two legs belong to Purva Bhadrapada and two legs belong to the Uttara Bhadrapada. These also can also mean, I don't know what it is called in this. What is it called? It's pyre, right? You actually carry the body over from a dead body is carried from here to the crematorium. You have a pyre in case of, I don't know what it is called. What is it called in English? The one which the dead body is carried over from the home to
It's
the.
called a hearse van.
Can you say it once again?
It's called a hearse van, hearse vehicle. HEARSE, hearse
Okay,
vehicle.
first
And
vehicle. Thank
the
you.
thing is called pyre, on which
Yeah,
we land the body.
when you fire it up, it's called as the fire. Correct.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So the hearse vehicle, which Ustad ji just said, or this you carry it. I mean, with four people, you carry it on four shoulders. That is the hearse vehicle or hearse thing. Two legs belong to Purva Bhadra, and the other two legs belong to Uttara Bhadra. Now, just understand if you have ever seen a death in the family, when four people are carrying it, right? Let us suppose the front people who are there actually not carry it so much. What happens is the back people will get a lot of load on them. Okay, if they are trying to relax their shoulders or try to move it up and down, the people who are carrying the hearse vehicle on their shoulders on the back side, they'll have more load. That is what the Purva Bhadra represents. When the first Purva Bhadra people put it down, it also comes to a place wherein the Uttara Bhadra will be the last people to put the fire down. So once they have put it down, it is off their shoulders completely. There is no more responsibility. Hope you have understood what I said. Just for people, just in case people not understand, let me say it in Hindi once again. जब चार लोग उसको उठा के ले जाते हैं शमशान घाट तक, पहला जो पीछे के लोगों को आप समझिए पूर्वा भाद्रा है, आगे के लोगों को आप समझिए उत्तरा भाद्रा है. तो जब उठाते वक्त सामने के जो लोग, मानिए थोड़ा सा पूर्वा भाद्रा के लोग जो हैं हल्का होते हैं, मतलब थोड़ा बहुत वजन हो रहा है बल्कि हल्का होते हैं, तो पीछे का पूर्वा भाद्रा के ऊपर ज्यादा प्रेशर आता है, लोड आता है. तो दैट इज व्हाट इज पूर्वा भाद्रा. जब पूर्वा भाद्रा के लोग उसको नीचे रख देते हैं, इसका मतलब ये है कि आप शमशान घाट पहुंच गए हैं और उसको आप अभी बॉडी को जलाने का वक्त आ गया है. तो जैसे ही उत्तरा भाद्रा के लोग उसको नीचे रखते हैं, उसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी खाली हो जाता है. ओके, not very sure if Tamils are there, otherwise I need to explain it in Tamil as well. So I don't. Okay. Anyway, I believe it would be easy to understand. It's not very difficult. Okay, so foundation above, good of all people, pervasiveness. This is an important aspect, okay? Being all pervasive. They want to be present in each and every field, okay? Exactly opposite to Uttara Bhadra. They want to come out of everything, okay? Purva Bhadra, they want to be everywhere. They want to do good of gods. They want to support everyone, okay? And the Shakti is Yajamana, Udayamana Shakti. So it means Yajaman. Yajaman is a word which means boss. Okay, in Sanskrit, boss is called as Yajaman. So boss would mean a father who is raising a child. If the native is a child, the father is the boss. If the native is working, the employer is the boss. If the native is a woman and got married, the husband is the boss. So as the Purva Bhadra works, it is the Yajamana Udayamana. That means as the native works, the employer or the boss or the father or the husband are going to prosper, but not the native or the individual himself or herself. So all the work that they do is going to go to their employer. It means that a person joins in a company of a Purva Bhadra, the company is going to rise their share value enormously in time. Okay. So if you're an employer, it is good to employ Purva Bhadra fellow. Final desire is pursuit of spiritual enlightenment and humanitarian upliftment through transformative experiences. This is the desire. And we have lots of Puranic stories. We'll come to that. Let's complete mantra. Ajasyaika padaha purve proshtha padaha vaisvanaram parastat vaisva vasavam avastat is the mantra. As I said, Aja means a goat. If you see the legs of a goat, okay, you see the legs of a goat, it actually evolved over time. Uh, at one point in time, what people think is if you look at just the leg of the goat, or for that matter, even the leg of an ox, okay, at one point in time, they were so round that you will not know in which direction the leg is placed. If it means that, let us suppose a human is standing. If we are standing, we have our feet towards to the front, right? So we know in which direction we can walk. If we have to walk backwards, then we have to turn around and then walk backwards. But if you just look at the leg of the goat without having looking at the face of the goat, if we just look at the leg of the goat or the ox, in olden days, they were so shaped like a circle. We do not know in which direction the goat is going to go, okay? Or we do not know in which direction the ox will travel if we just look at the leg because they are in a circular shape. So what does it mean is the person will go haywire at the start of his career or at the start of his life. He is trying to venture into hundreds of options, roaming here and there, not finding the job of his liking. Especially this applies to first house and 10th house characteristics. He's not able to get the job of his liking, okay, or he is trying to find something which he's not able to find. He wants to have some part of this job and some other part of that job put together, and one job, you can make another job. That kind of dreamy jobs he's looking about. That is one possibility. Second is the person is traveling very vigorously all through to find the right job, or maybe in the work itself, the demand for travel is very high. Okay, and they do not want to be binded by anything. They should be free and they should be allowed wherever they want to go. Okay, and they want to establish a path. Okay, and unborn, Aja would mean also unborn. Unborn means, as per our culture, what we say is Atma Vai Putra Namasi. Because we cannot live in the world forever, we produce a child, we leave the child on this earth, and we are living on his name. So Atma means ourselves, Vai, Putra means the son, Namasi, on the name of my son, I am living once again. This is what the sutra is. So Purva Bhadrapada would mean an Aja. That means the person is not born again. It means that the person may not have children for continuing his lineage. Okay, or he may not have a male child to continue his lineage. So, however, if you are declaring whether the person has children or not, you have to be very careful. Always look at the saptamsha. There are rules to be followed to declare one as childless or not. There are enough rules that I have written on this in this website. Please follow all of them. When all of them would say that the person has no children, ultimately you can declare that. Otherwise, just merely looking at the Janma Nakshatra of Purva Bhadra or something, please don't go by it. Okay, the person is constantly traveling or constantly occupied. Okay, if you look at this posture, when you do this tapas on one leg is very rigorous tapas. It means that they want to do something or achieve something very fast. That is when the rishis or the munis did tapas on one leg. Okay. You have a beam of light. So you can talk about X-rays, lasers, all that. Even Aja is called as a beam of light. Okay. A lightning that connects the space and the earth. So it can be worked as a bridge as well. So these people can be such a people who are, you can see like arbitrators who are working between two departments. These are like arbitrators. These can work like a bridge between two departments, carrying information from here and trying to give it there, like the fire, right? Agni. What does Agni do? It takes whatever havis you are giving in the yajna and takes it on your name and delivers it to the deity, saying, "Look, this is the person. He is the yajamana. I am the hotara. I have got, the harvest to you. Please take this, O deity," is what Agni would say to the deity, whoever is the recipient of it. Okay. So similarly, the person is working like a bridge between two departments. Then is Ekapada, one-footed. So what does one-footed mean? A person could be attacked by paralysis, wherein one of the legs is not working, only the one of the legs is working. That is one. The person is doing tapasya. In Telugu or in Hindi or usually Indian languages, what we say is, यार एक जगह खड़ा नहीं था, ये बंदा भागता रहता है, right? So the person is not trying to keep his foot down. One of his foot is always in the air. Foot means what? He's always traveling. Okay? Ekapada can also mean that the person is constantly traveling. Okay. So how do you understand constantly traveling? There are two ways in which this can be understood. A person wakes up in the morning at maybe at 6 o'clock, completes his daily chores, and then starts off to his first work. Maybe he completes that in about 3 hours or 4 hours, then goes to another place and then works there, and then travels once again and then works there. Maybe he has a lot of vocational interests in the evening. Once his office is over, then he would go to like 3 or 4 classes, learning a few things. Or a person tries to work in 3 different places or 4 different places, maybe works one week here, another week elsewhere, another week some other place. Even that can be there. So traveling would necessarily not mean just traveling by air or far off places. It can also mean travel within the city or wherever he lives in. Okay. One way he is very occupied right from the start of his waking up from the bed till the time he sleeps. He always ensures that he has enough work in his hands to do. If he does not have work, he would be the most upset guy and he would strive to get some work. Okay. Okay. It can also mean the one who makes clouds by drinking water from the earth or sea. It means that it's a sun. Okay. If you look at the conventional rainfall that happens on the earth, all the clouds are formed by the sun because sun's heat would try to drink off all the waters, and the clouds are formed, and that's when the clouds would rain. So this also can be a meaning of what Ekapada is. Correcting mistakes of grammar or syntaxes of computer languages, excellent language skills. So grammar can be a language thing, or a grammar can be a syntax thing in a computer language. So a person can be a computer programmer trying to understand the syntax of something, is an expert on that, or a person is a what is linguist, wherein he understands the language very well. And father of Ashtavakra. We will talk about that story, Ashtavakra. Okay, this is from the Upanishad, so we can talk about that story. Purve Proshtapada, first entering with the hind legs, entering using the back door. Okay, somebody who takes backdoor entries. Okay, so even in the offices, we also once this software has come in so much, people talk about backdoor entry, fake experience, and all that. So people trying to match up for the time that they have lost. Because what happens with Purva, this people is Purva Bhadra is at the start of the career, they have wasted a lot of time actually trying to explore what are all the options available for them and try to understand the best out of it and then join in a company. This is typically a Purva Bhadra. In due course, what happens is all his friends are settled, and this guy is still struggling in the initial part of 5 years or 6 years. And when he completes that 6 year cycle, he realizes, okay, this is where I can fit in. When he applies for the job, then he has to make up for those 6 years. He'll try to maybe make up with a fake experience. But once the interviewer asks him questions, he would answer them much brilliantly than the others. Okay, this is typically a Purva Bhadrapada. So the brilliance of Purva Bhadrapada is very high because this is Rudra. Okay, all the Rudras are very very intelligent people. So starting from Ardra or this Purva Bhadra or Uttara Bhadra, people are extremely intelligent. Even if they are absent for a few classes in the school as well, they can make up for it like a gem. Okay. And so even if it's a backdoor entry, they will not be kicked out. They would actually be very praised. I mean, in the company, even if the employer gets to know about it later on, they're not going to take an action over him because they know that he's very critical for the process he's deployed in. Okay. Ox's back legs that support its body and provide balance for the bulk of the body. Okay, so this can also mean Proshtapada can also mean the back legs of an ox. So if you see an ox is mostly supported by the back legs of it. It's usually the ox's back legs are very thin and the front legs are little thicker. That is because the back legs carry a lot of load. Again, the Purva Bhadrapada thing, which I have just described a little while ago. Okay, and a plow tied to the back legs of the ox. Okay, so the back legs are, even if you try the ox to a cart, if you have a plow tied up to do the tilling or the farming, all that is dependent on the strength of the back legs. So the back legs are taking a lot of pain, all that. So these people have very high endurance limits, very patient. Uh, they understand how to tackle difficult situations. Uttara Bhadrapada on the other side, they do not want to get a job. If they grab a job, their fear is how am I going to complete it? Let me rest. I have done a lot of job in the Purva Bhadrapada. I'm resting now. I don't want to do anything. Okay, this is Uttara Bhadrapada. Purva Bhadrapada is let me take. Give me more, give me more. I'll do. Okay, this is Purva Bhadrapada. All right, following dharma is important, and flying in the air can also mean Purva Bhadrapada. And fishes that jump back and forth in water surface. Why I'm giving you all these significations is they all can be useful at some or the other point in time. Okay. And you all know Bhadrapada Masa. We celebrate Vinayaka Chaturthi, and we also celebrate shouldn't be saying celebrate. We also do the Pitri Pakshas, where we give, the Pitri Pakshas. We actually give our oblations to our ancestors, and you have the holy feet of the Guru, Padukas, generally used in remedies. So usually Purva Bhadrapada, you generally talk about the feet. So you give Padukas or shoes or chappals. That can be one remedy given to your gurus to wear, or old people to wear, or your father is the first guru. So you can, if you have a lot of problems from Purva Bhadrapada, donate chappals to your father, or good footwear to your father, because he's the first guru. Doing tapasya on one leg, that means that the person is trying to rigorously do something, okay, to achieve. Vaisvanaram. Vaishwa, that means is special, okay, special. Nara means person. So a person is very special. It is Vaishvanaram. This person is not an ordinary man. He has a lot of contacts, extremely talented, or he is trying to be extremely rich, or he's already rich, different from what his family is known for. So this person is trying to do something which his family has not done before. That is special person, a special man who came from a very poor family, who has, constantly worked. A lot of hard work has made him, brought him to the riches. Hotar, who helps the Yajaman. So the natives work, because of the natives' work, as I said before, the employer or the father will prosper, or the husband will prosper. It's very famous. At least in the first part of life, for the first 45, 50 years, the person's employer is prospering. Only after 50 years, or maybe 45, the second half of his life, that is when he'll realize that now I have to prosper myself. Okay, one who is very radiant. We've talked about this in Kritika as well, because wherever Agni is there, he's very radiant. Vaiswanaram can also mean it's a Agni. So the person is very, very shiny. You cannot. I mean, this person cannot hide in a group. If there is a group of people, and one of them is Purva Bhadra, this person is distinctly visible in the group. Okay. by his actions or by his appearance or by his way of speech. That depends on where the Purva Bhadra is. Okay, who eats a very good food? Okay, because Agni likes a lot of food, and he's a Purohita, so the person is usually knowledgeable. He has the understanding of the Shastras, or not necessarily the Vedic Shastras. It can also be the subject that the person is actually interested in. Okay, and this person is emotionless because it's fire, and in fire there is no water. So a very, very small amount of water is there in the fire, maybe less than 0.1%. So the person has no emotions. He's trying to just do a duty. Okay. So anything he does, he thinks that this is the duty of me. Because I am here, it is my duty to do it, not because there is an emotion towards something. So he has a wife, because a wife, as a husband towards the wife, what is the duty that I should do? I'll do that. Because I am an employee of this particular employer, my duty is to give him so much work for the salary I am withdrawing. So I'm going to do so much work. This is how the person is. He is not driven by emotions. A very practical person. But still, he takes a lot of decisions emotionally because the next nakshatra is completely water. Okay. So decisions are emotional. The person is very practical. That is why two-faced. Okay. So, two-faced would mean usually Agni is depicted as a person who talks lies. So sometimes the person, I mean, you can have two kinds of people. One is the person who is always talking lies, or the person is trying to act very diplomatically, wherein, you know, he's not saying the truth, but it is sometimes necessary to hide the fact as well. So I have a horoscope. I'm not very sure if the time is right because I corrected the time myself. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, I have taken the time as 10:43 a.m. His date of birth is available in the Wikipedia. I took the time as 10:43 a.m. In the Lagna falls in Aquarius. Purva Bhadrapada is the Lagna, the Aquarius, third charana of Purva Bhadrapada. In the second house, you have Mars. The person has the third lord in the second house. So both would mean the person is diplomatic. The person's second house is showing diplomacy. The person's third house, communication, also is connected to Mars. So that also shows diplomacy. And even his father was in such a role. His brothers are also like, one is IAS, the other one is also doing some such kind of a thing. So based on all that stuff, and based on his D10 as well, the Dashamsha as well, have adjusted the time. I feel that this should be 10:45. Anybody has any comments over it, or maybe if you get the chart or the birth time right for the person, please let me know. That's an interesting chart. Also, I have corrected based on the D9 that he has, because he's lost his first wife to cancer, and he married a Japanese woman later on. Okay, so that's a very, very interesting horoscope because of the Purva Bhadra placement, the second house being the third lord. Okay, and hiding facts may cause defamation. The employers benefit, but do not recognize the natives much, because when we do the yajna, right, we will not talk about Agni the most. We usually give the oblations to the deities. Similarly, but Agni is the vahana, or the vehicle, who tries to deliver it to the person, to the deity, and he leads from the front. He's not afraid. Okay, the Purva Bhadrapada people are extremely brave. Okay, you get to see them very, very brave. They are not afraid of questions. They are not afraid of difficult situations. They know that if I handle difficult situations, that is only when I will be more successful. So let more challenges come to me. Okay, this is how the people are. Still, their authority is challenged. Okay, because Agni is not considered as a head of anything. Because Indra is considered the head of everything, and Indra and Agni had a quarrel. Everybody knows about this because Krishna and Arjuna, the Khandava Vana Dahana. Khandava Vana is a place where Khandava forest. You can go through the Wikipedia just in case you have any doubts around this. So Agni and Indra once quarreled, and Indra does not like Agni much. Same is the case with Agni to Indra. And that's why Jyeshtha and Kritika are opposite to each other. Okay. Authority is challenged, taking responsibility of marriage of others' children. This we have talked about in the Kritika as well. The same trait will come here. So Agni will represent Agni Karya, that means a marriage or something. So this person is trying to get, sponsor a marriage of a child who does not have a parent, etc. Because somebody has to sit to give the Kanya Dana. So the girl does not have a parent. The native is the mama or the uncle or the aunt who actually help the girl in the Kanya Dana. Okay, that can be a possibility. Then is Vaisva Vasavam. This is a typical word. Vaisva Vasavam. Vasu, Vasa. Okay, all this would mean earthly things. The person is extremely successful on material pursuits. Okay, it will mean Vasu would always, we talked about that in the Dhanishta as well. Vasu would mean Bhishma. Okay, so sometimes the person is not able to get married. Okay, or not able to have sexual intercourse, or not able to produce a child, or maybe not able to produce a male child, okay, or the husband or the wife or the spouse of the native is not able to produce a child. That is why the native is childless, usually because the other side of the person is weak. Okay, that is why he does not have a child. He has a good real estate. He's winning all the wars of life, like all the Bhishma did in the Dhanishta. You can put all those stuff here. He is materially prosperous. He's very religious. He's not resting but working all through, because Bhishma constantly worked for another king, and he never became a king. Bhishma was only a prince. Same is the case here. Okay, the stories are Ajayikapada. Okay, this is one of the 11 Rudras. He can shout on people if not work is not done. If he cannot shout on a person, then he will eventually cry. The person is who is doing a difficult tapas, very focused on what he has to achieve. The native works in circles, as I keep saying, repeats the same work with precision every time. If you see uh, typically people like tailors, singers, musicians, they'll keep hitting the same office every day. They'll produce the same kind of music every day. Okay, because the ragas are limited. You cannot have more ragas. The ragas are limited. The swaras are also limited. Sarigama Padani. That's all the swaras are. But they'll keep doing everything in circles and make it look like a new thing. Okay, this is the capability of this Rudra. And a tailor is there, an embroidery specialist is there. He keeps, sewing all day, and he'll make new garments every day. But his job is only embroidery. Okay, that kind of people. Or a cricket player is there. He keeps playing cricket. Okay, and he has to produce the best, and there is audience to watch. Okay, that is the Purva Bhadra. Okay, and so it's like a cycle. Okay, and the rain, storm, lightning, thunderbolt are the arms of this Rudra. So when does this actually is very useful when there were days of farming, right? When people were farming, because the Bhadrapada Masas are highly there for rains. When do the rains come and all that stuff are determined by the Bhadrapadas. Okay. So based on that, people were trying to understand how the season is going to be and all that. All right. So they will need a lot of respect. These people are high on self-esteem. Okay, they're very proud people, very high on self-esteem. They'll ensure that their ego is not hurt. Okay, so I mean there is a small difference between the self-respect and the ego. So it would mean self-respect positively. It would mean ego negatively. Both are same. Okay, don't think ego is a bad thing. It is important to have ego, because ego will give you a lot of self-respect. If anybody is egoistic, it means that he has a lot of self-respect for him, and he's not doing the wrong things. Because people who are wrongdoers cannot have any ego. Okay, this is my personal thought. Anyway, will need a lot of respect. Nataraja is also called as Ekapada. So the person is a dancer. Okay, he keeps moving only two legs and two hands and maybe two eyes and the same body, but he'll create new steps every day. Okay, he's a dancer. Okay. Ashtavakra Katha is a little interesting one. You can get this from Wikipedia. Ashtavakra. Okay, Ashtavakra is the son of Ekapada. His father's name is Ekapada. It's not the same Ekapada as we have talked about. This Ajekapada is a deity. Okay, this is a Rigvedic deity. He has no connection to the Ekapada we are talking about. This person's name is also Ekapada. So Ashtavakra is the son of Ekapada. Okay, and Sujata. Sujata's father, Aruni, okay, he was teaching in a Vedic school where this man, Ekapada, is a student. The Sujata and Ekapada get married, and that's when Ashtavakra is about to be born because Sujata is pregnant. Because Ashtavakra in the womb keeps on constantly listening to the Vedic chants, he masters them in the womb itself. And one day, when Ekapada was reciting one of the stanzas, Ashtavakra has actually found some grammatical mistake in it while being in the womb of Sujata. So inside from the womb came a voice saying, "Look, Ekapada, you are pronouncing it wrongly. This is how it has to be pronounced." Okay, that is what the kid said from the womb. Ashtavakra said it from the womb. After having heard this, Ekapada felt that, oh wow, my kid is very intelligent, but also his ego is hurt. So he cursed the child to be born with 8 deformities. So Ashtavakra means 8 deformities. So the person is born with 8 deformities, and so it means that the it's not very conducive to children. Okay, if you look at the Aquarius sign itself, as we talked about the last time in the last class, the sign itself is not very happy for happy place for the sun, who represents children. Okay, because sun holds the fifth house or rules the fifth house, and sun is not very comfortable with Saturn, and Saturn, Mura Trikona of Saturn is in Aquarius, so it's not very conducive to children. Okay, I do not mean to say that whoever has a Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra will struggle for children. No, I do not mean to say that. You have to look at the whole horoscope and then decide. Okay. So this person has some issue with the children. Like in the last class we talked in Shatavisha that the father is actually asking the native to leave his place, live on his own, and stuff like that. This is an extension of that. The extension is the father does not like the child, okay, and the father is missing. Okay, what happened is before, while this kid Ashtavakra was born, okay, with 8 deformities, while he was a very child, okay, where he did not know what the word was, then Ekapada went into a debate with Varuna's son. Varuna is in Shatavisha. Varuna's son is Vandi. He went into debate with Vandi, and he lost the debate on the grammar. Okay, when he lost the debate on the grammar, Vandi drowned him to Varunalok. Okay, Ashtavakra was trying to sit in on the lap of Aruni, who was actually again a teacher for these two kids. Aruni had another kid called Swetaketu, a little elder to Ashtavakra. Both are in the same place. Aruni is teaching them. Now, what happened is when Ashtavakra thought that Aruni is the father of Ashtavakra, and he started sitting on his lap. One day, Swetaketu came and said, "Look, he is not your father. Why are you sitting in his lap? Get down from his lap, go elsewhere, find your father. He is not your father." Ashtavakra comes back home, asks his mother what happened to his father and why he is missing. He gets to understand the whole story, goes to Vandi, debates with him, wins over Vandi, gets back his father from the Varunaloka till here, and also gets out other people from the clutches of Varuna. Okay, this is a very very difficult story to understand. However, what we can understand is a successful person, despite having a lot of deformities, because Ashtavakra had a lot of deformities, He had his own limitations. Despite all that, he could succeed because he's very determined to be successful. Okay, so this shows a lot of determination besides having a lot of struggles. Okay, one thing. Second is winning the father back. In Shatabisha, he lost the father's confidence or father's this thing. But in case of Purva Bhadra, at the end of Purva Bhadra, the person regains the confidence of father as he moves into the Pisces. Because all Aquarius, there is no confidence of the father. Purva Bhadra's fourth pada, the confidence of father increases, and in the Uttara Bhadrapada, it is further higher. Okay. Then you have story two is Dhruva. Dhruva, you all know about Dhruva's story. Dhruva is actually mistreated by his stepmother and ignored by his father. His father's name is Uttana Pada. Uttana means one of the padas, I mean, one of the legs is in the air. It's the same. Uttana means raised up, risen feet. Okay. So one of his legs is in feet. That is what one of his legs is in air. That is what the name means. Determined to prove himself, he sought a higher place than the father's throne. Okay. So same thing. He tried to again sit in the father's lap, and his mother, Dhruva's mother, is not the first wife of the king. So usually in those days, the first wife is only the real queen. Everybody else is just the sub queens or just one or two levels lower than the main queen. Okay, so he did not get enough respect, and he went into forests and did tapasya for Narayana, and he was advised by Narada to chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Ultimately, Vishnu appeared in front of him. Okay, he was a child, and Vishnu appeared in front of him, and he blessed him. This is so all these things keep happening in the child level. Okay, so there is a lot of transformation at the child level, or when the person is actually having that adolescence life between 17 to 25 is when the person is actually seeing a lot of changes in his life. Okay, the person is blessed. The Dhruva is blessed, and then you have him to be blessed as the Dhruvatara. Dhruva means pole, so he's blessed as the Dhruvatara, which comes up in Uttara Bhadra. Okay, so the perseverance or the kind of tapas that the Dhruva has done is all in the Purva Bhadra, and the result is all in the Uttara Bhadra. Okay. So the last story is Ugra Narsimha. So you have when Prahlada and Hiranyakashipa, Prahlada's father is Hiranyakashipa, when he was tired of Prahlada. Look, Prahlada, you keep chanting the name of Vishnu, whom I do not like, and I cannot see him anywhere. Can you see him? He says, I can see him everywhere. Can you tell me uh, where is uh, where is Vishnu? He said, everywhere. Wherever you want him to be there, everywhere. So Hiranyakashipa chooses one of the pillar in his one of the columns of his building or the piers of his building and says, "Look, can you get your Vishnu out of this column or the pillar?" Then he says, "Yes, he is there in the pillar even." So Ugra Narasimha comes out of this. The story is known to everyone, and from there, within no time, Hiranyakashipa is killed. So this also keeps telling us that the mm, the person is not going to waste any time. Immediately he will be on the job. That is first thing. And you also have this the father and the child has a different understanding of life. One is hating Vishnu, the other one is praising Vishnu. Okay, these are the theories or the themes of things. You can also have Vishwamitra. So mostly insults in Purva Bhadra. Okay, person is facing a lot of insults. Out of the insults, the person gets a lot of determination, and he is working towards what has to be done. Okay, and let's look at some traits. You have excellent diplomatic skills. Then you have he can also become a fraudster as well, because if there are so many afflictions, he can show anything like the lawyers do, right? Okay, so always take the positive angle as well. Sometimes the fraud needs to be done, then it has to be done, because not every time you will win with the right way of life. Okay, so someone whose success is after 40 or 50, okay, he will be renowned for his work as he ages and dies. Okay, a lot of people will actually follow him after his death. Someone who is a wanderer at the initial stage of career, as I said, struggle to establish himself, traveling or changing jobs. Bosses are very successful wherever this person went and worked, and because of the work of this native, still there is not enough credit for him. From the middle age, the native is constantly working with no rest. His jobs are time bound, like shutdown jobs, share market jobs, and all that. And he does a lot of work. Believe me, in the middle age, somehow some transformation comes in the person, and something suddenly changes for him, and he would be constantly working. Okay, and there are a lot of vocational careers for him. Like, he's going to music classes, he's going to astrology classes. Maybe he has two or three gurus elsewhere. Maybe he's trying to go to yoga classes, and then he has a job, and then all these things. Maybe he goes to a sports class like a football or something. He wants to learn that, all that. From 6 to evening 9, he wants him to be busy. Interested in food, knowledge as cooking, because Agni is cooking. So the person has some knowledge of cooking as well. Eating food on time sometimes becomes difficult. This person skips lunches, or always his wife keeps calling him. Look, the food is on the table, and it is catching cold. You have to come early. But the person usually eats after half an hour or 40 minutes, because he is always engaged in the phone or maybe some work. Okay, focused or interests on career that brings undying fame after death. Okay, constantly traveling, climbing the career, works as a bridge between management and his employees. I've also seen people who are interacting between two departments as a bridge. Sometimes there are two government departments, two government companies. There is this person who works as a bridge. Okay, usually this happens in Indian government companies. You need somebody to actually work as a bridge between them. This is what this person does. He actually stands for the problems of the people, workmen, somebody who is working under him, or underprivileged people who cannot go to the management and talk. He talks for such people. Okay, because this falls in the Saturn's Rashi. This also is one of the traits, and this is the fire as well. So Agni also does the same. Sexual issues, either too lusty or absence in interest of sexual activities, or sometimes does not want to even raise children, does not want to have children. Okay, why take additional responsibility? Doesn't want to have children. I mean, let's suppose somebody did not have children for whatever reasons. Usually people adopt, right? These people usually even dislike, why if children are there, they should be my biological children. I don't want to adopt them. Even this can be possible, but you have to look at the combinations, what actually is influencing more to make that decision. Okay, excellent understanding of the scriptures. Again, I say stotras, mantras, pujas are not necessary. Sometimes it can be so that he understands the subject in which he is working very well. Okay, too emotional sometimes. This person actually has no emotions because it's a fire thing. However, most of his decisions are based on emotions given by somebody else. He does this because somebody else influences him using emotions. Treats everyone equally. This is common for all the people, all the nakshatras that fall in Aquarius and Leo, because no one exalts here or no one debilitates here. No planet exalts or debilitates here. Okay, this is an important point. A death bringing about a change in that particular house from Lagna. So 10th house connections would make a death. I'll give you an example. Somebody has his 10th lord. Okay, this is Scorpio Lagna. 10th lord is the sun. Sun, I believe, is placed in Purva Bhadra. Okay, what happened is Um, his father died, and his mother said, "Look, I cannot live at this place. Please move from here." The person forced, I mean, he was forced in a way, or he understood that his mom is not feeling well here. He got into those emotions, came out of that place, moved his workplace back to his native place because his mom has more people to talk. Okay. As long as the father was alive, the mom and father both were retired, sitting at home, chatting and doing things. Father's death brought him to a place where he had to resign that job, change his career completely into something else. Okay, that much accommodative the person is. Okay, and another example, sister's husband died. The sister became the responsibility of this native. Okay, and father died. Mother became the responsibility of this native. Okay, all right. Now you look at the dispositors of the house lords. So first lord dispositor being here in Purva Bhadra, or the Lagna lord dispositor, you have more traits here. Or the Lagna cusp falling here, you have more traits. Okay. Then is first is interests in singing, dancing, grammar, learning languages, or some any of the Lalita Kalas, we call them, like the fine arts, some interest in that. Okay, having issues of brahmacharya, childbirth, or having more relationships, because Agni is a person who always had his eye on all the wives of the sages. Okay, all the seven sages. Agni was very lustful fellow. So you have to decide it based on the third house and also the Navamsha. So just not merely having your Lagna being there would say that the person is very lusty, or don't even get into such discussions which talk about their bedroom life. I would say please don't get into that nonsense. Okay, be on the safer side. Talk about some things which are that can be talked in public, but not something about their bedroom life, which we shouldn't be talking about. This is my personal opinion. Depends on how you take this. Okay, may have physical issues like Ashtavakra, so the person may have a few physical issues as well because Ashtavakra is here. Interest in spending in nature, traveling, constantly working. Because Rudra, wherever you see this man Rudra, right? These people are interested in places, including the Arudra, the Purva Bhadra, Uttara Bhadra. These people are interested in semi-urban, places, not too busy like in the New York or in the Tokyo. They do not want to go to such places because it's too busy there. Neither they want to live in a village. They would want to live in a place where there is some nature and also some busy life. Both they want. They want actually everything, all pervasive, right? They want everything. Interest in spending in nature, I just said, and also very good at eating because it's Agni. He likes a lot of food. Okay, extremely focused on career. But the only challenge is they're not able to eat on time because he is very occupied. Otherwise, he likes food very much. Focused on job, career that's being done, facing insults or crying for respect silently, especially from spouse or parents or other family members. If you look at the seventh house from there, you have Magha. Magha is also having a similar trait. So it is the same here. Based on afflictions, ill health like paralysis affecting the movement of the person is influenced. But for paralysis, there are so many nakshatras that we have talked about. Dhanishta is one, Bharani is another one, this is another one. So depending on how many of these get connected to the stars, and especially the 12th house connections to all these nakshatras can show some paralysis issues, etc. However, unless it is at the very fag end of life, I don't think anybody has to worry about these things. Okay, person tries to achieve something which will be spoken even after the native's death. He'll become very famous in cult societies like the Satabisha we've talked. Should wait for position because sitting on a lap or a throne, because lap would mean a throne. So the position actually the person gets very late. Okay, sometimes the inheritance is very late. So the person needs inheritance, he's not getting it. Okay, this happens in both Shatapisha and this one, Purva Bhadra. Okay, or the person is trying for a promotion, the promotion is delayed for whatever reasons. Okay, and in the first part of life, like from the time he has completed his graduation till the time he finds his first successful job. Okay, maybe he could be changing a lot of jobs in between. So the first job wherein he has spent some considerable amount of time would happen. You will have a gap of about 7 to 10 years because the person is trying to actually venture into a lot of things, especially if the family does not need money of this native. Okay, if it means that the father is employed, the mother gets enough income, the other children are okay. I mean, his father is able to feed the other children, mother is also properly fed. Then this native, if he does not have any of such responsibilities, there is more likeliness that the person is trying to venture out and see for himself what are all the available options for him, and then try to uh, you know pick the best for him. Still, what happens is he loses a lot of time on all this. The other one is deaths in the family will bring about a lot of changes in life, adding responsibilities, and maybe he has to make some compromises, because if there is the father dies and mother comes in as a responsibility at a very very old age, then you may have to sacrifice a few things too, because you have to attend her in the evenings, or maybe at some time to understand what is happening with her. Okay, so that is an additional responsibility. Such responsibilities may come over the head of the native. Second is the excellent placement. You have excellent communication skills, grammar, language skills, multiple languages. The person may know, very highly diplomatic. Sometimes talks lies. Everybody knows that this is a lie, but you cannot catch his lies. Okay, and it looks like a really diplomatic thing. Okay, and rich in, I mean, very interested in making food. Sometimes interested in cooking as well, and very good digestive system. Usually, the people are lean. Okay. The third house, mismatch in the sexual interests of self and spouse. Okay, as I keep saying, please do not go into these when you're talking to anyone, unless it's your own personal horoscope. You're trying to correct it yourself. You know that what is happening to you. Talk about the sexual aspects of it. Otherwise, refrain from talking any of that stuff. Spouses or self has some medical issues and unable to produce a child. Maybe you can look at if they do not have a child, because the third house represents the maithuna. Maithuna means the sexual activity. Okay, and mother's life transformed after the father's death, if it's fourth connections, or maybe somebody else's death has brought in some changes in mother's life. Maybe mother's sisters, sometimes I have seen that the native's mother has an elder sister who was like mother of the sister. So when the death came in, maybe some responsibility added up from the other side. Okay, or maybe the mother's life only improved after the death of the native, which I mean of the relative, which I just talked about. Or after the mother's death, the person is able to buy a home. Okay, even this can happen. Okay, and you have excellent knowledge of stotras, pujas, Lalita Sahasra, especially the fifth house connections. Spouse is disinterested in sexual activities or has some health issues or unable to produce a child. Mismatch again, the sexual appetite. Very devoted spouse or too many relationships outside marriage. Cross check other planets and D9 as well. It is better to refrain from talking any of these stuff. Okay. Brain is working restlessly because the fifth house, Purva Bhadra, the person is constantly thinking some or the other thing. How can I change something? Okay, excellent digestive system, unless Saturn aspects. Okay, someone only who has a female children, fifth house connections. Excellent material prosperity, hard work. Okay, when you have in the sixth house, you will have huge hard work done by the native. Constantly busy, very occupied, never want to sit idle, always feel hungry for food. Excellent digestion, unless Saturn aspects once again. Seventh house, spouse is constantly occupied at work, not much time for family. spouse is constantly on travel due to work. It all whatever we talked about in the first house, the same thing will come into the seventh house. Interest in dancing or singing or fine arts for the native himself, because seventh house will show the stage on which the person is performing. So if seventh house has something, it means that the person is performer. Okay. Just to give you, just struck my mind. I mean, if you have, I mean, this is not related to the Purva Bhadra. Somehow it just came into my mind. If you have seventh house sun, okay, despite no matter where the lagna is, if you have seventh house sun in the seventh house, it's not good for marriage. It will give you a lot of ego issues or stuff like that. However, if the person is an actor or a stage performer or somebody who has a skill set being shown in front of public, okay, and earns a lot of rewards due to the performance that he can make, it's very good. Then there is no problem with the spouse. Okay, it just somehow struck me, so I just try to share it. The best example is the author of Jagannath Pura software. I believe he has sun in the seventh house. Okay. What is important here with the seventh house and the ninth house is, like in the Ardra, we've talked about the same thing in the Ardra. If the married life is very good, okay, then everything of the person is very good. If the married life of the person is bad, because it's a Shiva, okay, the Shiva becomes Rudra only when Parvati is not alongside him. Okay, Shiva became Rudra only when Sati Devi was killed and he did not have a wife. Okay, so he went into destruction mode only when he did not have wife alongside him. Okay, so Parvati tries to complete Rudra. So when the married life of Rudras, usually or any Rudra for that matter, if the married life is good, everything is very good for them. Okay, or if the wife does not obey the person, or if the wife does not give him enough respect, then a lot of things actually change for the native, especially in the Rudra nakshatras. Okay. Then you have the eighth house, very good digestion unless Saturn aspects, the same thing. The in-laws are restless people because eighth house can show the second from the seventh house. Constantly focused on something and working on it, even in the eighth house, because it shows research, right? Eighth house, very good spiritual progress. Somebody's death has brought up a big change in life. This is definitely visible, especially with the eighth house, third house, first house. Okay. Usually, actually, what happens is this adds up some more responsibility to the person, 90% of the times, unless Uttara Bhadra is more powerful than the Purva Bhadra. Okay, ninth house. Father's death may bring in a big change in life. Father expires. The person may be living in the US. Suddenly, the father expires. Your mother is not able to leave the village or the city in which she is living, and maybe recall back the son who's living in the US back to India. And the son is forced to do so because he cannot leave his mother. And the although he's a very practical person, does not believe in emotions, but he's carried away by the emotions of the mother. Okay, that is how the karma is. All right, someone's death in the family has brought about a big change in the career of the native, which I just discussed. Okay, prosperity in life at the fag end of life. Usually, if the career is between 20 to 60, the first 15 years of career is nothing. I mean, he must have just wasted all his money, did not work properly, or even if he worked, nobody recognized his work. Only at the fag end, suddenly everything starts to fall in place and he would be promoted, he would have everything because this person is extremely talented. All the Rudras are extremely talented. They know all the four Purusharthas very well. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So you have all the four Purusharthas very well in the Rudra Nakshatras. Okay. I'm not just reading them aloud or I'm trying to give you a few examples because anybody can go back into the website and try to read them. Okay. Elder brother's death has brought in about a change. So 11th house signification I put on here. Native enjoys a lot of travel, or most of his earnings are based on travel. The more the person travels, the more the person is earning. Okay, and the prosperity at the end of the life. 12th house interests in dancing because 12th house is feet, and travel interests, nature, enjoying solitude, solo traveling, and all that stuff. Okay, more or less, this is all about Pura Bhadra. Anybody has any comments? Anything to share with? Please go ahead and say. Okay, one point I missed out on the fire accidents. I thought of putting this here. It can be applied in Kritika and here also. The point for the fire accident is if somebody gets into a fire accident or something. I mean, last time Ustad we talked about that. If that thing has to trigger, right? Because the fire needs a trigger. So the trigger is the fire planets and the Rahu. All of them have to be aspecting or be present there. So the fire planets are the Sun and the Rahu, or Sun and the Mars, and Rahu is the amplifier of the fire. So if they get either connected to the Kritika or to the Purva Bhadra. Actually, Purva Bhadra because it's a sudden fire. You don't know when the fire will come up. So mostly Purva Bhadra. Yes. Any comments from anyone?
Sir, I have questions.
Yes.
Why is there a theme of death in the Panchak Nakshatras? Dhanishta, the brothers were dying. Shatabhisha also, someone dies in the family. And here also, a lot is related to death.
Right. That is because this is majorly ruled by Saturn, right? Saturn is the karka for the eighth house. And also, all these nakshatras are taking you to Revati. Revati is the person who is getting you into the next world or the Pushan. When we talk about Revati, you'll understand that the person is actually leaving this world and traveling to the next world through the Vaitarani Nadi. Okay, so these are called as the Panchaka Nakshatras. Okay, Dhanishta Panchakas is what is very, very prominent in the south. We call them as Dhanishta Panchakas. Anybody dies in these nakshatras, a lot of shanti is done. I'm not very sure about the North Indian culture there. Just in case you know about it, please let us know.
Yes, sir, in North India also, Panchak thing is important.
Okay.
And you said these nakshatras are owned by Saturn.
Yeah.
This one or all the five?
It falls in the Aquarius, right? Dhanishta starts at
Oh, yeah. Okay.
all of them
Okay.
are ruled by Saturn because it's in the Mura Trikona of Saturn. And the 12th house of Pisces uh, is also the ending. So that also represents death.
Okay. Next question was also regarding this. Since we are talking so much about feet, is there any special relation to Saturn, which has already been answered? Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. So,
And Saturn rules the
uh,
feet because
yes, Saturn.
In Shravana, when we talked about uh, if you have Shravana there, Vishnu, right? Vishnu sits in Shravana. You look at Ganga. Ganga originated from the feet of Vishnu, which is in the Purva Shadha. Okay.
Okay. And one observation which I have done is that they have very high level of intelligence, these natives,
Yeah.
but they are somehow ignorant about their level of intelligence. And just like Hanumanji, just like another Rudra mentioned.
Mm. Mm.
And
Possible. I don't disagree.
hello,
Yeah, I'm listening.
okay. So and you said they have very less emotions. Once you mentioned in this uh, lecture, I don't agree with that. They have very high emotions and they are not good at hiding also. That also I disagree very humbly. You said they hide. No, they are not good at hiding emotions. What they are good at is they are good at suppressing, forceful suppression of emotions.
Agreed. I
And
don't disagree. Okay.
because both of the charts which I'll mention, when I went near them, they were crying in hiding, and they have said it to me. They have, what do we say the right word? They have like surrendered in front of me. Like you get all the secrets out of us. I don't know how. And I was also not trying to get the secrets. They just somehow felt comfortable and
Hmm.
they have too many suppressed
May,
emotions and
may I
forceful
add?
suppression is there.
May I add here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, as I said at the start of the lecture, uh, it's a dual-faced nakshatra. Okay. So, both the Purva Bhadra and the Uttara Bhadra are too difficult to understand. Not any literature is actually available. Even if you read the literature, it's too hard to actually decode. You talked about two people that you know, right? You ask about these two people to somebody else, they would say that look, they hide a lot of things. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
They in one case
let me complete. Let me
it
complete.
is true. Other
Let me complete.
okay, okay.
Let me complete. So the other point which you said is on the emotion side. As I said, the emotions as well, they are highly practical and they are bound to duty. And if it so happens that there is a burst, because Rudra is a burst, they suddenly burst out and they cry. Okay, when they cry, they let out everything, and that is when you'll get to know. Does this answer your thing or?
Yeah, yes, it does answer. It's my thing, but yeah, you are also correct. We can't say that you are
Yeah, it's too
wrong
difficult
in
to
any
judge
manner.
Rudra Bhadra.
And
It's too difficult to
yes,
judge
it's too difficult to judge. It's
Pura
too
Bhadra.
difficult to state in words.
Yes,
It's
it is.
ineffable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, on the vocabulary part, I will say in Shatabhisha, the keyword was obligation. They are too much bound by obligation, moral obligation is there. And here the keyword is duty. They are too much bound by duty. You absolutely nailed the point. Duty. And
Sometimes you may have to interchangeably use these. Okay, not just one keyword can define the Bhadrapadas. It's too difficult. Okay, the
yes, sir.
obligation part also can come into Purva Bhadra if something else is influenced. So it's, however, duty is the right word. Obligation is the right word for Shatabisha. Yes, to a large extent.
Yes, and you have mentioned about the sexual intercourse, sexual problems things also.
Yeah.
So let me come to the chart. That way it would be better to. I know something, so it will be better to share. It will be good for learning. So first chart, Leo Lagna with Purva Falguni in Lagna rising, and Sun has gone to seventh house, and in seventh house, Sun, Mercury, Venus, all three are in Purva Bhadrapada, and the dispositor Saturn has gone to eighth house in Uttar Bhadrapada, and it is with Ketu. So what this guy has gone through is uh, he had a problem with his private part. It used to bleed heavily, so he had to undergo a surgery to have a proper intercourse. That's how I'll put it. So you are absolutely correct, but we should not go ahead of ourselves. If somebody is asking and if somebody is stating the problem themselves, then it's
Yeah, that is
good.
when the remedy, or that is when something has to be given. But most likely, it always needs the medical intervention. No
Yes.
astrological remedies will work in Purva Bhadrapada. Okay, it will always need some medical intervention. If they don't do it, they'll remain to be childless or maybe having that problem with them for a long time.
On the childless thing, sir. Very interesting thing over here also. So his current girlfriend, who is about to, who is who has promised him to get married in about a year. What her problem is, she doesn't want to have children. Look at the seventh lord and seventh house, ton of Purva Bhadrapada and child problem which you were stating. It's absolutely true. She doesn't want to have children, and her job includes a lot of traveling also.
Performer,
Yeah,
because
but
this house has sun, performer here
so I didn't hear you.
is he a performer? Maybe does
No, no, he
some.
is not a performer, but he is a coder.
Okay,
Performer is the other guy which I mentioned later.
okay,
He's a coder. He is a finance guy. He'll code. Have you heard of the company One Card? He codes for them.
okay. I'm not very good at uh, the software companies. Okay,
He's a coder. So that was but the father theme doesn't apply because again Uttar Bhadrapad is dispositing all these three planets. So you said
okay.
In Uttar Bhadrapad,
Is he lazy?
not at all. He is sleepless, not lazy.
Okay,
He is very, I mean, he is very hardworking, very intelligent, not lazy at all. He is a roamer, like he likes to travel a lot, and he worships Lord Hanuman very vigorously. He's an ardent Bhakt,
devotee.
Hanuman Bhakt. So
Okay,
Ugra Devta worship he does.
okay,
So I think we should move to second chart. Yeah, second chart. He is a singer. Last time also I mentioned his chart in Dhanishta.
okay.
He is a Scorpio rising with Vishakha in the Lagnakas. Lagna Lord has gone to Purva Bhadrapad, Mars with Sun in Purva Bhadrapad again, and Mercury is also there, but not in Purva Bhadrapad.
Does
So
Rahu
his
aspect?
house catches
Does Rahu aspect?
Rahu. Yes, Rahu aspects. One, two, three. No, Rahu doesn't aspect.
Where is Rahu?
Rahu disposits. I mean, Rahu's dispositor is in the fourth house.
No, no. Where is
Rahu is
Rahu?
in 11th house. 11th house
Okay,
in Virgo with Moon, and his dispositor becomes Mercury. It is in fourth
okay,
house in
okay,
Dhanishta.
okay, okay. So you're talking about the fire accidents, right? For the same
Yes,
person.
I was talking about the fire accident. The fire,
So
his
you
house
should have
catches fire.
either the aspect or the presence of both the Sun and Mars. Both are fiery planets. Both should be there. Okay.
Yes, they are there.
So Mars can be aspecting from the eighth, from being in sixth house from that place. So Mars aspects the eighth as well. So just be mindful of Mars aspects. Mars can aspect fourth house. Mars can aspect eighth house. Rahu,
Hmm.
I mean, other people may not take, but I take Rahu aspects fifth house and ninth house besides the seventh house. So these are the
Hmm.
aspects that I consider because Rahu is just the head, so he has more aspects. Ketu does not aspect anything. Okay.
Okay.
So wherever you have Rahu influence, along with the Mars and the Sun, both should be there, or they should be aspecting. That is when you have something related to the fire accident, especially with the Purva Bhadra thing.
And this guy is a heavy performer. I mean, he is even more hardworking than the other guy I mentioned because the Lord of the fourth house is Saturn, and he is also in Purva Bhadrapad in
Yeah,
fifth
that is the
house.
difference. Yeah, that is the difference I'm talking about. So somebody has the dispositor, despite dispositing three planets, he's placed in the Saturn, and he must be having some targets in life. Once they are achieved, I think he would say, "Look, I'm done with what I have to earn, and that's it. I have enough money. in bank. That's it. In the first case, but in this case, he keeps on going.
Yes, he is very hardworking. It is very hard to talk to him. I mean, he would give you dates for talking only for three. I'll talk after 3 weeks and like that. And this guy is related to the music industry. He doesn't want to have kids. Yes, earlier I mentioned in the next lecture also.
Okay.
So yeah, those themes also apply. That was what I had to share.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else has any comments?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Uh, how can we predict if Rahu is there in Aquarius in Purva Bhadrapada? As you said, I would like to relate one thing. As you said, Mars is in Sagittarius along with Sun, and Mars is aspecting Rahu. And he had seen a fire accident across the street when he was 10 years old or so. Yeah, the fire coming, it's a communal fire. Yeah, coming across the street in the fields.
Okay, but
So, yeah,
there is no sun's aspect, luckily.
no Sun sacks. Sun, Mars, both are in Sagittarius. And yeah, but Sun is in Purvashada along with Mercury, but Mars is in Moola, Gannanta. So he is aspecting Rahu, who is Purva Bhadrapada in Aquarius.
Okay,
So,
so yeah, so that's only a maybe there is no effect of the fire. No, nobody got
yeah,
entangled in the fire or anything.
y-
If both the planets aspect, the Sun, the Mars, and the Rahu, all three are aspecting, somebody is entangled in the fire, and it may also show that there is a death due to fire. Okay, if only one planet is aspecting, it means that the person is saved from the fire. I mean, anyway, you always have to look at everything, just not merely have Sun, Mars, and Rahu placed. And yes, this shows that no, not many times it shows. Moreover, if fourth house and the ninth house are influenced, it usually saves the person. Fourth house and ninth house, because fourth house deals with comfort, ninth house is the protector, father and mother. If it means that the person is protected by the fire, if these
oh,
houses are not involved, more chances
yeah,
of
yeah.
having the person burnt.
Yeah, exactly, sir. Because it's a Leo Lagna and Mars being the both fourth and ninth house lord. And also, sir, my question is that how can we look at Rahu being in Aquarius in Purvabhadrapada, no other planets? Does he have more impact in the dasha, or how can we predict it?
I mean, if it's a Rahu Dasha being is the current operative Dasha, it may bring in all these qualities of hard work, constant perseverance, uh, and all that. I don't think anything more Rahu can give, because Rahu is a shadow planet. And moreover, Rahu is not dispositing anything, because that Aquarius is what Rahu wants, and Rahu is alone there.
Oh, okay, sir.
Or maybe I don't know. Okay, you talked about Rahu being in the Meena, right? In the Pisces, correct?
No, no, Aquarius.
Uh-huh. Okay. So how does the Mars aspect from Sagittarius? Mars cannot aspect. Mars is in
Oh,
Sagittarius.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Mars
yeah, yeah.
aspect Pisces only.
Yeah, yeah, I got confused with those bhavas
Okay.
also because yeah, Rahu's in is in very low degree, so it's fell into
Okay.
eight.
Probably, yeah. I would agree to you, because aspects are based on the degree thing. So if Mars is very at the start of Moola, yeah, Mars may aspect it. So usually what happens is this man gives the aspect table, right? Where is it? Uh, Aspect table with relationships. You can use this. What are the aspects?
Oh,
Uh, yeah. You can go to view and how much is the percentage of aspect on each planet by the other planet. Okay, go to view, and you have aspect table with relationships. Click on this. You understand. These are the planets, and these are the aspects.
Oh, okay, sir. Interesting.
Okay, you can look at it from here. Depending on how much the number is, 100 will give you the highest aspect. Okay, and as the number is lower, lower is the aspect. Anything over 75 or 80 is considered a big aspect.
Oh, okay, sir.
Sir, I have my brother's Lagna falling in Purva Bhadrapada.
Yeah,
Twin brothers
आवाज
actually.
अब समझ नहीं आया. Can you repeat it once again?
Yes, sir. I have my brother's Lagna falling in Purva Bhadrapada.
Okay.
There is a fire incident on this Diwali.
Oh.
He got his neck burnt.
Okay.
And I have twin brothers. There is 5 minutes difference in them, but they are completely opposite of each other, I can say.
Okay. I mean, a lot of people say that look at the D60 chart for observing the characteristics of twin charts. To be very frank with you, I have seen very few twin charts, so I hardly, maybe I have about 5 or 6 twins charts. So I cannot put my foot down and say look only at D60. Okay, I would still look at the D1 chart and then look at D9 chart and then look at maybe the D10 chart, and finally only I'll go to D60. I'll never start with D60 even if it's a twin chart.
Yes, the D9 is changed. One is
Then
Aries and other
then
is
it is very
Pisces.
different. Absolutely. One is Aries, other one is Pisces or Taurus. The characteristics are completely different. So
Yes,
your
completely different.
attitude, your characteristics, and everything will come from your Navamsha Lagna.
But one thing is, both are very hardworking and very busy.
That's why I'm saying.
That I
So you
can
have to use the main chart, Purva Bhadra. So both are hardworking.
Yes.
Okay. Is there something on the Purva Bhadra aspects? Okay. What I understand is the transit Cancer. You have Mars. So Mars is aspecting Purva Bhadra. Probably transit Mars. I don't use transits. However, do you know any of the planets? All the Sun, Mars, and Rahu are all aspecting a single place. Do you see it either in the Navamsha or in the D60? Because it's a twin chart. Now, now you have to be a little, I don't know, because if it's a general chart, if it's a single person, not the twin, then what I would suggest is always look at it in the D1 chart. In the D1 chart, because fire is a physical thing, it has to happen and the body has to burn. It has to show up in the D1. Then only go to D9 or any other chart. Because fire is a physical thing. It harms the body.
He have Rahu in Aries, third house.
Okay, Rahu in the Aries, that's
I
fine.
don't know how to say transit.
No, no,
And
not
Mars in Pisces.
Okay, Mars and Pisces.
And Sun in Capricorn.
Okay, so you have Sun and Mars on either side of Purva Bhadra.
Yes. Yes,
This can
Sun
also,
and Mars.
this
And Venus
can
in
also
Lagna.
cause. Oh, okay.
Venus in Lagna.
This can also cause a fire accident. Okay, but it's a minor one, right?
Yes, minor due to firecrackers. But it happened with one only.
Yeah, it'll happen with one only. That's why I said so. I'm not very sure how do you see it for just one kid. Okay, to be very frank. because I have not still understood how the twin charts are working. Okay, I do not mean to say that I cannot predict anything. Yes, I can predict a few things. I can still say that this is a twin chart. However, I usually actually confuse between the events. If I remember a very classic case about 5 6 years ago. A case came to me. So I said, "This is a twin chart." They said, "Yes, this is a twin chart." Then I started predicting events, and one event from this boy's chart and one event from the other boy's chart. So it became a lot clumsy to me. This keeps happening to me off and on. So I still have not figured out or what is the right way to keep our foot down and say, look, because usually what happens to me is anybody comes up with his chart, I would say, look, this is what happened. Don't try to bluff. Okay, I'm very clear on that. Okay, but in case of twins, I have still not figured it out to say it the rude way. Okay. Anybody else has any comments? Yes. Raj.
So one more thing I have observed is that their face will have red pimples. Although the second house connection is not much, but their face will, both of them have some red
Uh,
pimples on their face because of the Agni thing. Maybe.
No.
No?
No. If you need
Okay.
a pimple, always look at the second house of the Navamsha or the second house of the Lagna chart, I mean the Rashi chart. Because face is
Okay.
represented by the second house. You may have Mars in the second house influencing. Okay.
In one case it is.
Mars or any fire planet, maybe Sun or Rahu, Moon Rahu. What else can generate boils, right? Boils or pimples comes up from Moon Rahu, Mars, Sun, Saturn Mars, Rahu Mars. These all can give you pimples. Maybe look at it even in the D9 chart. Sometimes they appear in the D9 chart.
Okay.
Just not merely having a nakshatra thing, you have pimples, because for that you need planet. Okay, done. So what are we left with? We have Uttara Bhadra and then we have Revati. Okay, we have left. We did the class, but we could not record Rohini. Let's do these three nakshatras, and then we are good to go to have examples. You guys may bring in examples, like in a Telugu class the past 2 weeks. Students get their some of their charts, not their own charts, but whoever is not related to them. We will not disclose their name or phone or who they are. We can still look at the date of birth, time, and the place, and we will only talk about events that already happened. So do not please bring in kids' charts. Just try to bring people who are aged. Okay, even they have passed away, even better, so that they have enough events in life, and we can only just correlate based on what is uh, based on the nakshatras. Before we talk about D9 or planets, because I have not taught you planets yet, I have to teach what Sun does in first house to 12 houses. Similarly, all the 9 planets. A lot of people have already, a lot of videos are available in this context. But I want to teach it my way. So that'll add up to whatever is already there in the internet. Uh, and from there, we will talk about maybe half-hour class and then 1.5 hour examples. Because once we come to planets, maybe we'll reduce this content to half hour. That's enough for planets. Because nakshatras are too big. It will need 2 hours. For planets, we don't need so much. Even if they need, we will split it into 2 classes and we will do examples. For the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, We will only do examples so that I'll actually give how to actually observe what are all to look for, and whatever I know, I'll try to teach. And also, I'll take insights from you just in case you have better insights. I'll also learn eventually. Thank you so much, you guys. Have been patiently listening to me all through. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.